Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Blue Diamond, Pătриция Debska.
And I see many leaders, Presidential Diamond, Blue Diamond and Diamond. Your presence here is the result of years of work, decision and courage, we know that. But today I want to speak especially to those sitting back there, because I was sitting exactly where you are sitting now. I remember a moment at the Lisbon Convention in 23. The best leaders with the highest rank, similar as today, were sitting in the first row. And I felt very, very clearly that it was the place where I belonged to. First, in my heart, because when I looked at these people, I didn't feel distant. I felt great readiness. I felt that this leader was already within me. Then, in my identity, because I saw myself as part of this place, not an outsider, but as leader who is simple to going her own way. And in my decision, because I knew that my only job now was to continue doing the same. That is, build myself, build a team, build education for clients, step by step. Exactly 1 year later, at the convention in Turin in 24, I was already standing on the stage, receiving the diamond rank. So the journey from gold to diamond took me about a year. But today, I know it began much earlier. It began in my heart, in my identity, in my decision. Because the truth is, your business doesn't begin when you enroll the first person. Your business begins when you start building yourself. That's why today I'm taking you on a short journey. Grab your backpacks, pack your comfortable shoes and electrolytes. I think you know where we can buy them. And we're off on the path of building a leader. Because before you build a business, you first build yourself. This path, in my personal opinion, has 5 steps: presence, identity, power, execution, and service. Presence. Your business begins in the morning, the first minute you wake up. Not with how many people you have to enroll, but with who you are when you wake up. I know what it means to be only physically present. I have traffic business. I was completely dedicated to my work from morning to night. Everything was in order, everything was working well, and yet at some point I felt like life was happening right next to me, not to me. At 40, I was expecting a child. And then something inside me stopped. I realized I no longer wanted to live from here to there. I didn't want to just do tasks. I wanted to have an impact. I started this business with my baby on my breast, and every morning asked myself one question: whose life can I influence today? What can I do for the world, for the others, and for myself? Not how many people I should enroll, not what rank I should achieve, but who I can truly help today. And that changed everything. You don't have enrolled people. You have the privilege of influencing people. Your business doesn't grow by the number of conversations you have. Your business grows by the quality of your presence in those conversations. People don't just respond to your words. People respond to your energy, to your confidence, to your presence. Presence means you stop acting out of fear and start acting out of mission. You don't ask, will I succeed? You ask, who can I help today? Next step, identity. Your business always follows your identity. You can't build a business bigger than who you think you are. I started completely from scratch. I didn't know what leadership was. What's more, I was convinced I wasn't made for it. In high school, I played volleyball. I was the captain of the team, and I remember many moments when 6 people were on the court, and 5 of them looked to the captain, to me, to take responsibility for all the match. It paralyzed me. That's why I chose to run my traditional business as a single person. I thought I couldn't handle the team. Until one of my friends asked me, Shanti, where do you yourself to the team? In front of the team, behind, or next to the team? And without hesitation, I answered, next to the team. And then I realized something very important. A leader doesn't drag people along. A leader goes with people. And then my identity began to change. Because the truth is, I'm not born a leader. I am a girl from a simple block of flats, from a small town in Poland, from Częstochowa. I started this business at 41. And when I made that decision, many people, even very close ones, told me, you must be crazy, Shanti, do you want to sell essential oils? I decided to give up on something that was already comfortable and stable, for something that seemed very unstable to many people. And when you hear things like that, your identity can be very fragile. You might start to doubt. I had 3 things help me a lot. Firstly, the immense support of my loved ones. That's why today I want to thank you especially to my husband Mario and children who supported this process. Secondly, I thought to myself, why not starting from scratch? And thirdly, something very rare in business, no high expectations about immediate results. Listen, it took me over 20 years to build my first business. So I said to myself, okay, Shanti, give yourself time. I started asking myself, who do I want to be in this business? Because a leader's identity doesn't start with results. A leader's identity starts with a decision who I want to be in this business. From that moment on, I started thinking about my business differently, with curiosity. Yes, I started new business. I'm very curious to see where I'll be in a year, and I will be very happy if you support the business someday. Because the truth is, if you didn't follow yourself as a leader, why should your team act as if you were going to the best person to ever join your team? A leader doesn't sell a dream. A leader gives people confidence. Confidence that it works. Confidence that you can help people. Confidence that it's worth trying. Because the truth is, your identity speaks for your business, not your results. That's why you become first, then you achieve. Most people wait for the result to feel confident, but a leader first decides who he is. Results come later. You don't change your business. You change your identity, and the business follows. Power. Your power doesn't come from a marketing plan. Your power comes from the decision. There was a moment when I was great at getting new clients, but very poor at building a team, and I was convinced I was saying the wrong things. I thought maybe I was explaining something wrong. Maybe I wasn't inviting people well. Maybe I didn't know how. And then one sentence came that changed everything. I was saying the right things, but to the wrong people. And then I understood the meaning of 2%. If out of 100 people, only 2 build a business, then the question is not why nobody wants to work with me. The question is, have I already talked to 100 people? I was convinced I have. I made a list. Do you know how many people it was? 36. And then I realized I haven't even started. Since then, I've told everyone to count it. Many people don't start business, not because the business isn't working, but because they think too much about what others will say. Will someone criticize me? Will someone laugh? Will someone say it doesn't make sense? But the truth is much simple. Most people don't think about you. Most people think about themselves. So stop playing a secondary role to the other people's opinions. This is your life, your business, your story. Build something you and your family will be proud of. This is the power of responsibility. The problem isn't the business. The problem is beliefs. Trust me. You will never feel ready. Readiness comes after action, not before it. Next step, execution. This is where everything clarifies. I want you to remember one thing. Your upline can't work harder on your business than you do. From the first month I did my job, daily contact with 5 people, 5 classes a week, sometimes more. I never counted ranks. My husband handles the structure. I handle the people. And do you know how I found out about Blue Diamond? At the most difficult moment in my life, when I lost another business I was investing money in. Nervous breakdown. The feeling that everything is falling apart. And then I found out I made Blue Diamond because I had been building this month before in silence, with no pressure, with my nose to the ground. Time flexibility isn't just given. Financial flexibility isn't just given. It's earned by you. The company will pay us exactly for your consistency, never more. One of the biggest lies about network marketing is that this business is supposed to be easy. This business is simple, but it's not easy. Simple because the steps are clear. You meet people, you build relationships, you educate, you help, but it's not easy. Because it requires one thing: consistency. Doing simple things every day for a long time, ignoring the outside noise, and accepting that results don't come immediately. Building yourself and your business isn't always sexy, but the results are sexy, just like six-pack on your stomach. Everyone says, wow, but what's behind it? Daily workouts, discipline, diet, nobody sees that. And it's exactly the same in business. The process isn't sexy, but the results, blue diamond, are. Success is built in silence. Talk less, do more. Let the results speak for you. Service. This is the highest level of leadership. My husband says something very important at the beginning. This business requires mercy. If someone says no, it's not about you. It just means it's not the moment. I was at a trauma workshop in 24. I heard a sentence that completely changed my thinking. Our teacher said, no means I took care of myself. Let's do a little exercise now. Please look at the person sitting next to you. Say no to her, him. And when you say it, think to yourself, I took care of myself. And it works both ways. You see how the energy of this word changed? Suddenly, no doesn't mean rejection. It becomes information. That's why I always tell my clients, partners, one thing. Today you say no, it's okay. But keep in mind that I'm there if you say yes. And you know, people come back after 2 or 4 years. Let me give you another example. A friend of mine, a brilliant sportswoman, found me a great bike for professional sportsmen. It was a bargain. She did it for me out of love and care. And I said, no. Was that about her? No. I didn't need the bike at the moment. It's the same in business. Don't take no personally. You're not just building your business, you're building yourself. The most beautiful thing you can give is space for yourself, for the client, or for the partner. Presence, identity, power, execution, and service. This is the inner pipes of leader. First, you build yourself. Then you build everything else. And one day, you look up and see you are exactly where you saw so far away. With this model, I talked about work for everyone. No, this model isn't for everyone. But let's ask a different question. Does the gym work? Yes. But it works for everyone? No. The gym works for those who come regularly, for those who exercise even when they sometimes don't like it, for those who understand that results don't come just after one workout. Network marketing works if you take action. This model isn't for everyone, but personal development should be for everyone. Because whether you stay here 2 years of 20, if you follow the path, presence, identity, power, execution, and service, you won't live as the same person. Please don't stop building yourself. If something isn't you, live without it. But if it's you, do it for 100%. Thank you so much.